I think I've missed a finger out. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. And if you remember, I think it was last month, when I was talking about winning the lottery and I've made a purchase and all of that kind of stuff, this is what I've decided to buy. I bought a sewing machine.
That was a mistake.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I won £140 on the lottery. I'm not a millionaire or anything, don't get your hopes up. But yes, I thought I would use them winnings and purchase a sewing machine. And it's this one, this Brother one, because I think Brother's supposed to be like a good make or something, isn't it? And I've always wanted to be good at using a sewing machine and to actually have a sewing machine and be able to just kind of like whip it out and make like a t-shirt and shit, you know? And I did used to use sewing machines way back in college, so you're talking about over 10 years ago now. And I can remember I wasn't very good at it. So I'm hoping things have changed and my mind's a little bit better now and I can actually do something with it. Otherwise I've just wasted money on something that I can't use. So today's video is all about unboxing this sewing machine, getting it all set up, figuring out how to kind of set it up. And I'm also planning on making a pair of gloves. I thought I would start off very simple. Unbox this, set it up, figure out how it works and make some gloves. That should be fine, shouldn't it? Right, so let's get into this, see what I've got myself in for. Right, so this is the bad boy. Oh, it looks well fancy. I have to admit, this really intimidates us. Massively intimidates us. But I'm hoping, if this video goes well, that I'm gonna do like a mini-series of sewing different things. That's what I'm hoping for. Whether I end up getting that far, I'm not sure, but we'll soon find out. Okay, so I feel like I kind of understand a sewing machine a little bit. Obviously, this is the machine. This is the pedal that operates the sewing machine. And you press down on this, and that makes the needle go and do stuff. I do remember when I was at college, the one thing that I really struggled with was threading the thread and actually getting it to stay inside of the little foot thing. For some reason I could just never figure it out. I would always have to get someone else to start it off for us and then I could actually use it, but I could never actually set it up properly. And I'm hoping I've matured a bit and I can kind of figure it out. The thing is though, we used to obviously do textiles. We used to do loads of different things at college. Textiles, painting, sculpture, 3D stuff. And I could never really focus on instructions. If someone was like telling us very specific things on how to do something, unless I was like incredibly interested in it, it was just like speaking to a wall. You was talking to us and nothing was registering at all. I just wasn't listening. And I kind of wish I had, because I would know a lot more about things if I'd just listened. Okay, so before I start pissing around with this, I think it's important to read some instructions. Okay, bear with us a second. I'm gonna skim through all of this information. Oh my god, it's got a DVD too. Why is it giving us a DVD for? I don't have a DVD player. I don't even think my computer takes CDs. And if no one knows what one of these is, because there might be some young people watching, this has information on it and you put it in and it plays either like a video or music or something like that. Oh, getting so old.
Thank you for being a friend.
Okay, so I've just had a quick skim through these instructions, and one thing that I've realised that I don't have is a bobbin. And a bobbin is basically like this little metal thing that you kind of add thread to it or something. I could never get my head around what a bobbin was for, but apparently a bobbin is used for lower threading. So obviously I can't do that because I don't have a bobbin and it didn't give me any bobbins. But there's another way and it's called upper threading. So I'm going to upper thread this machine and then I think I'm ready to go and start practicing. And I feel like upper threading looks easier than lower threading. So let's try this out. I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible. So upper threading, we've got this thing here and this is where your long bit of thread goes on. And I bought these with the machine. I need to turn off the machine, raise the lever to raise the presser foot. This is a very beginner guide on how to set up a sewing machine. I hope everyone knows that. This won't be for experts. So this lifts the foot up like that. And this one brings the needle down and brings the needle up. But you want the needle up and the foot up. Oh wait, I think I do have a bobbin. I can see one in here. How do I get into that? I can see a little hidden compartment. I can see a bobbin. Oh yeah, I've got a bobbin here. No, I think that stays in there. I'm not gonna touch that. I don't think that's a spare one. I think that's supposed to stay there. Right, so our foot's up, our needle's up, and our thread's on. Number 4, make sure that the spring in the groove catches the thread. We're bringing the thread around here, and it's just going through this little bit here, by the looks of things, like that. Oh, so there's a little spring inside of there. I think it needs to go through the spring. Guide the thread. Don't panic, Ant. Don't panic. You can do this. Oh, there's steps on here as well. So step 1's done. Step 2, up there. And step 3, you're going to come back up there. Do I go through the hole? I do go through the hole, I can see. How do I get that out though? There must be a way to get this out of here. There's a little hole in this metal part and I need it to go through there, but the metal part doesn't stick out enough. I'm resorting to Google. I can't figure out this little bit.
Now, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there is a little metal, kind of like a clip or a claw, however you want to describe it in there.
Oh, okay. So I don't need to thread it through there. Oh, makes sense. There's a hole in there, but I don't need to get it through the hole. Okay, so it just needs to go. Oh, I've done it. I've done it. It was a piece of paste. Inside of here, it's just like a little metal hook. And if you just bring it all the way around, it threads itself. There's no hole. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I've done that. Now what? Pull the thread behind the guide above the needle. I'm gonna have to get down on the floor. Where does it need to go? I don't understand this bit. Pull the thread behind the guide above the needle. Maybe just behind that bit, not the full thing. If you're wanting to learn how to thread a sewing machine, this is the wrong video for you. Just letting you know if you've just clicked on this video. Right, behind there and through that bit. You're not going to see any of that, but I think I've done that right. If I've done anything wrong, that's the bit I've done wrong. Thread needle from front to back. Oh, it would help if I could see. I literally can't even see what I'm doing. This hole is so ridiculously small. Oh, I got it. Oh my god, I got it. Fantastic. That was so difficult. Slowly turn the hand wheel down towards you counterclockwise by hand lowering and then raise the needle. Oh, I think it's done. I think I've threaded the machine.
Bless your heart.
This is the bit I used to find really hard, is actually setting up the machine and getting it so that the thread would actually do stuff. I used to always struggle at college, but I feel like I've set that up. I remember it's all coming back to us, all the horrid memories. I'm still not done though. Right, I've threaded that and it's gone through the machine. I know that bit. Pull on the upper thread to draw the lower thread. Why don't they make it easier? Why don't they make instructions easier? I'm just gonna watch another video again. I'm like half an hour in and I'm still struggling.
And then you're going to pull it behind you and just give it a tug. And then you want to take your strand here. And there's a slit in this little metal clip.
Oh, I need the bobbin. I need the bobbin to be threaded. Oh, I swear down. So that bobbin I do need because it needs to go under there. And this is the bit I hated from college days because I could never figure it out. By the way, if you're wanting to know how to thread a sewing machine and to set up a sewing machine, go watch Mizzy Creations How to Thread a Brother Sewing Machine because she's fantastic. I'm shite. They are fantastic. Bear with us. I'm going to get this sewing machine threaded and then we're going to move on to this next step because otherwise this video is going to be like 10 hours long. I'll be 1 second. Well, I won't. I'll be like 10 hours, but bear with us. Okay, so I've kind of set this up and looking at the video I was watching, I don't feel like I've set it up properly. So I'm going to do a tester to see if I have set it up properly. And then if I have set it up properly, I have no idea how I've done that. But I've got a bobbin in the bottom. I've got thread at the top, which is what you need. I didn't think you needed the bit in the bottom, but apparently you do. And now I think I'm just going to try and do one sew. Take out a bit of fabric. I swear if this has worked, I'll be absolutely shocked. Are you shitting me? It's worked. I've sewed something. I don't know how I've done that though. How have I set this up? I need to know for in the future because I've set this up and I don't know how I've done it. But I've managed to sew something. I don't even think you're going to be able to see it because it's so tiny. Look at that. I've proper sewed something. Are you shitting us? But the issue I have is I've set this machine up and I feel like I've just been lucky. I don't know. Should I just try and make some gloves and see what happens? It's definitely stitched. I feel like this is the kind of thing where I need to have like a good day of just pissing around with it and seeing if it works. It's really hard to record a video of your first time installing a sewing machine and then trying to actually make things and also trying to tell other people and explain to other people how it works when you have literally no idea. Okay, so that's set up and I don't think I need to do anything with it. So now hopefully I can just make some gloves. But I just wish they would make sewing machines easier to like thread. This bit is the complicated part. I know how to use a sewing machine, but it's all the kind of thread on the top, thread on the bottom, how it connects. Like Brother, all the other sewing machine companies, please design a simpler sewing machine for us lot. For us lot who just can't wrap our heads around it. Right, let me get some fabric and I'm going to try and make some gloves. Okay, so I have done a little bit of research on this part on how to make some gloves. So I've got some old cow print fabric that I already had in the studio and I've cut 4 bits of it to a similar size. It's not perfect. I need to lay them on top of each other. And this is a stretchy fabric as well, so not much can go wrong. I'm just gonna kind of tuck this bit under. I do know what I'm doing, kind of. And then that's still the size of, right, perfect. And then I've bought these little clippy things, which I thought made more sense than needles. I did buy some needles just in case, but I find these a bit confusing in order to keep things in place. And I think little clippy things would be better for us. And I think people do use these for sewing because it says colourful sewing clips. I just feel like a bit of a child. And then I'm just gonna clip all my fabric into place so it doesn't move anywhere. As you can see, I'm taking this very seriously. Not even like being sarcastic, I am taking it seriously. Okay, so my fabric's prepared. I've got 4 sheets of fabric here, all clipped and kind of set out very nicely. And then I'm going to take a washable fabric pen and I'm going to draw around my arm. I want them to be nice long gloves. I don't think it particularly matters if it's like super neat or anything. You won't be able to see that, but I've got like an arm shape. And then I'm going to cut it out with all 4 together and leave a little bit of allowance for a seam, I think. I need 1 centimetre. Oh, these scissors are shite. It doesn't matter too much if it's like mega rough because it's all going to get turned inside out, so it's alright. I would rather give myself too much allowance than not enough. Okay, good. Perfect. That went quite well, actually. I'm surprised. Oh my god, can you imagine if I actually made some gloves today? I've managed to thread a machine and set up a sewing machine without even realising how to do it, or how I did it. So imagine if I made some gloves. That'd be well fun. And it would also be the point of the video. So now we've got 4 very rough kind of outlines of what my hands are like. And then I'm going to separate them into 2, because they're going to be 2 individual gloves. I might need to draw around this one because otherwise I'm not going to know where I'm going. Right, I'll pin all these together for now. Well, I say pin, I'm going to clip all these together for now. Keep the fabric nice and flat and nice and straight. Okay, 1 ready to sew. Do the same with this one. I will say, mind, it's a lot of effort, isn't it, to sew something. Nothing about it's like particularly easy. I feel like there's a lot of preparation that goes into actually sewing something. Like patterns and making sure everything's in place and all your lines are right and stuff. I think that's something I take for granted. Because I'm the kind of person where I just like to, I don't know, almost rush into things and not really take my time and just see what happens. But with sewing, I don't think that's allowed. You have to be very precise, very accurate, and measure everything properly, otherwise it goes wrong. So it's a bit of a challenge for someone like me, but I'm gonna step outside of my comfort zone. And at the end of the day, I did that macrame in the last video, and that went incredibly well, so fingers crossed this goes alright. Okay, I think I'm ready to sew now.
Well, it's about fucking time.
Also, another thing, if you've never used a sewing machine, I forgot how sensitive the pedals are. You have to really press very lightly on them. And I'm quite like a heavy-footed, like thumpy person. Ah! Right, let's give this a go. See if I can actually do it. Foot down. I've broke it already, the thread's come out. Not a good sign. I think I can fix it, it's alright. Yeah, okay, right, I think I fixed that. Again, I don't know how I fixed that. I just let it do its thing, I suppose. Right, gloves, here I come. Oh my god, I feel like I should be on Project Runway or something. Check me out. See, now I'm going around the thumb area and I feel like it's going to get a bit tricky, but we'll survive. I wish I'd drawn a bit darker on this as well so I could see what I'm doing. I can't even tell what I've sewn and what I haven't sewn now. I think I've missed a finger out. I've 100% missed a finger off. I know I have. I don't even think these are going to fit my hands. I think I only went round 2 fingers and I've only got 1 finger left. And I'm pretty sure I have 4, not 3. Maybe these gloves are a little bit more complicated than I thought they were going to be. Okay, I finished that glove. I have no idea. I just almost felt like I stopped figuring out what I was actually making. I know this isn't going to look like a glove. I dread to think what this is going to look like, but I know it's not going to be a glove. And if it is a glove, it's not going to have any fingers or thumbs or anything. Where have I even sewn? What is that? Oh no. Oh, I've just realised as well I've sewn it the wrong way because I need to turn this inside out and I was supposed to sew it a different way. So my gloves... Oh no, I think I've done it. I have done it wrong. One side's inside out, one side's the right way. Let's just see what this is actually going to look like because I don't think it's going to look like a glove. Because what you're supposed to be able to do is turn this inside out and then you have like a lovely glove and you just obviously cut all the excess off. But I have a feeling I am not going to have a glove. The fact that I've sewn something though, I hope we're all proud. I've definitely sewn something. Oh my god, what have I done to this? Have I sewn it together? Where like the holes at? Is that a finger? I don't even know what this is. Let me try and put my hand in it and see if I can work it out. I there actually any fingers at the bottom of this? I can't get this on my arm. Look at it, it's so tight. And I don't even think there's any fingers anywhere. I don't know what I've done to it. That's what the end of it looks like. It just doesn't look like anything. Oh dear. Well, I've tried one. This one hasn't worked, but I've had practice now, so hopefully I'll be able to make one glove. And I'm gonna have to, well, should I just do it inside out? I may as well. But it's because I couldn't figure out what I was actually sewing. I need these pen lines to be way thicker because I just got very confused. I think because this pen, it's called a magic pen, I think it disappears after a while, so I couldn't really see what I was actually sewing. Right, I can see that, and this time I shouldn't have any problems. So it's back to sewing again and see if I can actually do this. I shouldn't have started with gloves, I should have started with, I don't know, something way easier. Okay, let's see what this one's gonna look like. Please just resemble a glove. That's all I want. Oh, I definitely feel, it doesn't feel as tight, this one. Oh, actually, yeah, it does. Why have I sewn it so tight for? I'm gonna have to cut it. It's too tight. I thought this was supposed to be a stretchy fabric. It doesn't stretch very well. Oh, I can kind of feel... Can I feel fingers? I can kind of feel holes, but they don't feel like where fingers should go. Okay, this might look like a glove. Let me just take this off and turn it inside out. I'm going to have to cut it a bit more because it's way too tight around my arm. It's going to look exactly the same as the last one. I've sewn everything so tight. I think I needed way more leeway with it. I will have a hand. It will 100% be a glove. I don't know how I've sewn this together. I really genuinely don't. I don't think gloves are easy to make. People on the internet make sewn gloves look ridiculously easy and it's not. Oh my god, look at that. I've made like an alien glove. I've sewn it. The other one didn't work, but I've sewn this one. This could be a new trend and have like a, I don't know, a weird shaped hand. That's interesting, isn't it? Look at that.
You have to convince yourself.
I've struggled, okay. I've struggled very hard with this. But this was my first attempt and I've sewn something together, so I'm calling it a kind of win. I'm still gonna celebrate. They're just not very practical gloves. So I think that just about does it for today's video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I know it hasn't gone particularly well. I have successfully managed to set up a sewing machine, even though I didn't know how I did it. And I've also successfully sewn together bits of fabric that looked kind of like gloves. But if anyone has any advice for us about sewing machines, sewing patterns, any of that kind of stuff, leave it in the comments below because I clearly need it. And I'm still going to make this a little series. I'm going to get better at sewing. Let me know what you think I should sew in the next episode. I'm thinking something like a cushion. I think a cushion would be very easy. And I'm going to do a little bit more research, try and figure things out a little bit more. But I think my main mistake today was being fooled by the internet when they said gloves were easy to sew. They're not easy to sew for a beginner. They might be easy to sew if you're familiar with sewing, but if you're not familiar with a sewing machine, it's actually quite difficult. And that also does it for December double uploads as well. I'll be going back down to 1 video, sometimes 2 videos a week in the new year. That's when you'll see us next. So I hope everyone has a lovely new year if they're, you know, going out, getting drunk or eating lots of food or doing whatever. Hopefully you don't spend it with a hangover. I'm sure I will. Actually, I think I'm at work, so I don't think I'm celebrating. I'll have an early night and think about my sewing machine and how I can make it work next time.